What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica. I'm here to talk about some hot topics. I have a list of things to talk about. So, I came down here to talk about a few things, and I did want to talk about DMX. And you guys saw the picture that I posted of my desk. I loved DMX. Do you hear me? Was I really sad? I have a different relationship with death than a lot of people have, and I don't see it like, oh my God, it's sad, the life. But DMX was always like, even though he had an addiction, and he he just always seemed to have like this light in this in just like in the darkness you could see like light in him. And a lot of people say he was anointed. I feel like we're all anointed. I feel like we all are anointed. Some of us just lean into the gifts, some of us don't cultivate them at all, some of them don't, some of us, because of all the outside systems and constructs that we have agreed to, don't we see things outside of ourselves as you know more blessed or anointed than we. But I feel like all of us are anointed. DMX was 50 years old. He talked about being introduced to drugs at a very young age by somebody that he trusted. I didn't know until last week that he had 15 kids. And I didn't know much about DMX after like his personal life too much, just stuff about, that you would hear in the news and his run-ins with the law and going to jail and things like that. But as far as his music, for me, I love DMX. Like, I love DMX. Y'all saw. So, DMX, he had a Billboard record that he set. Hold on. Oh, DMX, let's see. It says the album debuted #1 on the Billboard 200 chart. This is talking about It's Dark and Hell is Hot. It sold over 5 million copies. Then he came out in 98 with Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. It debuted #1 on Billboard 200 and went multi-platinum. And then in 99, December 21st, and then there was X. That was his third album to debut at #1 on the Billboard 200. He is the only rapper to date to do that. He set a record. So, first 3 albums, #1 to Billboard 200. So I did want to make sure that we let that be known. Yeah, let's see. And he was on. I posted on my page when he was on Fresh Off the Boat. DMX was in movies and stuff like that. So we just wanted to give a shout out to DMX. I just have a different relationship with death. I feel like it literally is a transition. I don't feel like it, energy doesn't die. So that's just what it is. And it continues on forever. So speaking of DMX as an actor, there was this conversation about the most successful rapper to actor story. And that has been a conversation on Twitter for the last couple of days. And I was like, I think a lot of people forget to include Will Smith. There's LL Cool J, who's been very successful, Mos Def, who's been very successful, Will Smith, who's been very successful, Queen Latifah, hello, who has been very successful as well. So many who have been so successful that I do feel like I don't know why Jamie Foxx was included, because Jamie Foxx is not a rapper. He is I think Jamie Foxx is just an entertainer. He can sing, he can write, he can act. He's a comedian. He's very just, I think he's just multi-talented. But I don't think he's a rapper. I don't know why he is in that phrase. So who do you guys think? Put in the comments, who do you think has had the best rapper? Oh, Method Man, who I just saw in Concrete Cowboy on Netflix, which was actually pretty good. With what's his name, Caleb from Stranger Things, a young black boy from Stranger Things. He was in it. Who else was in that movie? And Idris Elba. That they were in that. And that was actually pretty good. So who do you guys think who's the most successful rapper to actor story? I think it's Will Smith. Ice Cube. Don't forget about Ice Cube. But I think it's Will Smith, to me. What do y'all think? Y'all let me know down in the comments. And if I missed some people who's had very successful, we talking about the most successful, right? The most successful. How do we determine the success? But I guess, for me, it's like, I believe because LL Cool J's been working for a long time. But Ice Cube, I really believe it's Will Smith. Shout out to Will Smith. Have you guys watched Lena Waithe's them on Amazon? Child, I didn't watch it, and the first thing that I woke up to this morning was a review in the Los Angeles Times, and she's been criticized for this black trauma porn that she produces. I still haven't seen Queen and Slim, only because of the way that it ended. I felt like if you are the writer of these stories and the story doesn't have to end like that, and you're the writer, like, why would you be a black writer and tell this black Bonnie and Clyde story and then have it end like that? I still haven't watched it. I heard it was, in terms of cinematography and camera direction, that it is impeccable, but the script and how it goes is just like falls flat. And so she is criticized a lot for this. I don't know, it's like a black trauma porn, but then it's also like these, like with Jemele Hill, she does the same thing with these like obvious stereotypical tropes that you kind of play on and make jokes about, and it's like, that wasn't really that funny. Like the watermelon barbecue joke, it's not that funny. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that, like the things like Jemele Hill, she has a weird sense of humor like that too. I don't know if it's a sense of humor. I don't know, but Lena Waithe gets, with her films, she's getting, criticized. So in the Los Angeles Times, this is what I woke up to this morning. And I was like, because I wanted to watch it, right? Because I'm like, okay, Us and then Them. And I'm like, okay, it's a horror movie. It looks interesting. The trailer looks very interesting. But then I read this from Los Angeles Times. While much of the menace in Them comes from things that go bump in the night, the most shocking horror lies in its most realistic scenes of racist violence, which are arguably more disturbing than the vivid images in its recent predecessors. The mayhem gains momentum in the 5th episode, which depicts the murder of a black infant while his mother is raped, and continues in a later episode with the blinding of a black couple with hot pokers and a white mob then burning them to death. Girl, do you think we really want to see that? Like, honestly, you've been in the back cooking all this time, and this is what you bring out for us to eat, girl. This is what you're bringing us, Lena. And it's like, why? I thought it was a film. Actually, I didn't realize that it was a series, because they said by the 5th episode. Girl, that's not, especially like during these times, it's like, Girl, like that's one of the reasons why I can't watch Cream Sugar right now. I don't want to be engulfed in racial drama. I just don't want to do it. That's not, it doesn't, I'm changing it doesn't harmonize with the frequency that I'm on. If it gets real staticky as and closer as it gets real staticky in my ear. So I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I gotta fine tune that. I don't want that at all. So I really, and now because of this, just this little like piece of review, I want to watch it so that I can have just a real well-rounded opinion about it. So I don't have an opinion about the series because I have not watched it, but I do have an opinion about how Lena Waithe cooks food that she wants us to eat. Over and over again. And she just constantly does it, and I don't know what it is. It's that weird, like, I'm gonna play on the stereotypes. And then it's like so violent, and it's just like, girl, I don't know. I'm not here for it. Anyways, what else were we talking about? So online this morning, another thing that I kept seeing that I am so tired of seeing is this talk that who do you want back on Real Housewives of Atlanta? And it's constant chirping and chattering of Sheree and Phaedra. I have no idea, like Heavenly said on Married to Medicine, why y'all want these recycled folks back on your TV screen. For Sheree, absolutely not. No, Sheree is boring. She's tired. She's phony. She's inauthentic. She has been on the show twice, fired twice. You've been fired twice. And every time she was fired, she was following around after KK Kim. That's who she was following after. Every single time Sheree lost her job, she was stuck up Kim's ass that season. She doesn't deserve to be back. You are the only housewife. Sheree is the only housewife who has done absolutely nothing with her platform. Nothing. Even Porsha has done something with that platform. You have done nothing. Absolutely nothing. Still ain't done nothing. What are you doing now? Where are the joggers, girl? May, September, spring, summer has passed 6 times since then. 12 times since then. And you still have done nothing. And all you can do, you're boring. And then Phaedra, of all people. After what Phaedra did with that whole Candy situation, Porsha shouldn't, if you really want to be, Porsha shouldn't even be on the show. Because, bitch, you carried it. And you knew it was a lie. But, honey, Phaedra. Phaedra has been lying to us. What did Nene say? It's girls in the hood who don't even know who their baby daddy is. And the bitch know when she's due. Okay? Phaedra came on our screen lying. From the time she came on our screen to when she left, talking about, oh, now I'm the villain. Yes, lady, you tried to start a rumor to tarnish someone's entire brand and their character. And y'all want her back? She's dangerous, actually. She's a liability. She is the one. See, this is where I have issues with people. When they do things to you that could change, like, there are things that you can forgive. And this is where I've grown on my path of the action of forgiveness. For me, it's forgivable if you do something, girl, no big deal. But if you do something in an attempt to change my reality, I have a problem with you forever. Forever. Phaedra could never come back. You realize what could have happened to her? You see what's going on with Tiny and Lollipop Guild president. You see what's going on with them. It can ruin you. An allegation. And you said that she wanted to do that to a cast member and y'all want her to come back? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What do you guys think about that? I don't think Sheree or Phaedra should come back. If anybody should come back, it should be Eva. Period. Because she's right smack dab in the middle of being, on the younger end of the older women, but still mature enough to hang with Cynthia and Kenya. Like they're cool, but you could still get with what's the girl named Latoya and Alice the Goon, Drew. You could still get with them. What's her name is in the middle. She's 40 years old this cancer season. PJ's mother. So I don't want them to come back. I would rather see Eva come back. If anything, Eva come back. And because like I said the other day, I changed my position because I really wanted Kenya, Candy, and Cynthia off the show, and then bring Lauren on with Porsha. But the way that Porsha has been acting, it's like, you honestly, truly can't anchor the show, and we're not going to even get on that. But y'all heard Porsha and Marlo going at it. Girl, Marlo was on Hollywood Unlocked, and I'm in the middle of the interview. Where am I? I'm at, 23 minutes. It's about 50 minutes. Baby, Porsha apparently was on Dish Nation or whatever show she's on. I love when Marlo was like, girl, you work too hard for me. For you to be having a man, you work too much for me. But anyways, and then Marlo said, you gonna get all your work done on your face and you don't do nothing to that stomach. That's why I was like, why do Porsha be walking like that? Like y'all saw Latoya do, but her stomach was out and her butt was out and she was walking like that. But you gonna get your face done, your teeth done, your titties done, your ass done, and you don't get your midsection done? Girl, that's weird. But Marlo said it, not me, and I agree. But apparently she accused Marlo of mixing pain medications and alcohol because she got lipo. Marlo was like, yes, I did get lipo, and look how I look great. That's what you need to be doing to that midsection, okay? You know what? Didn't I tell y'all? That's when your value is set that low and that surface. That's what people are going to come at you about, is your appearance, because that's what's valuable to you. So that's where you get a person. That's where you hurt the person who puts value in that, because you could talk about anybody and say whatever you want to say, but if they don't put value in what you are reading them about, they're going to be like, girl, I don't care. But talking about that lady's appearance, she's going to have a problem with it. But Marlo said, oh, first Candy wanted to drug you, now I'm on drugs. You need to get your shit together before I start really spilling some tea. So Marlo, of course, was like, kind of cringy when she was like, I couldn't even mess with none of the girls. They wasn't smelling right and this and that. That's one thing that I do not like that women do to one another. They use those tactics, the same tactics men use to shame women. They use the same, oh, she smell and she did that. Marlo is, I can care less, honestly, about Marlo. She gives what she gives. I said, Andy should give her a peach, and y'all was like, no, because she used the F word. You ain't never getting a peach for that. You can forget that. You can forget that peach. And so even Marlo was like, girl, the season is over. You don't have, a leg to stand on or whatever. So what do you guys think about the beef or whatever is going on with, and then Marlo called Porsha a fake friend. Like, that's the thing. Like, that has been the theme of Porsha's tenure on this show, is how she's not really the good friend. And it's like a lot of the viewers see like, oh, that's Porsha's like the girl I would want to hang out with. She's fun. She cracks jokes. She likes to drink, but she's not really a good friend. And so Marlo says, it's funny that, what did she say? It's funny that I didn't get mad at her when she was cool with Kenya, but now I'm cool with Kenya, and now I need to choose on the friendship. But then at the same time, you say you don't really care. Like, the shit is crazy. Anyways, I did see that live of Drew looking a lot like a different person. I think she got the contour right on her nose. Now, I don't know too much about makeup, but what I do know is that every time I looked a full frontal of Drew, that her nose looked like it was like smashed on her face. That's what it looked like to me. That's why I call her a clay face, because her nose, the way that her contour was, her nose looked like it was spread, like somebody had took a piece of clay and just smashed it on her face. And this live that I saw, the contour was not, her nose was looking a little different. So maybe she got that shit together, because after that I'm gonna post a picture of her. It's with that after show with Porsha and her and Shamia, and she's sitting in the middle, and she just looks like, I don't know, it looks weird. It looks weird. Anyways, so I saw that live of her, and I do agree with Rodney that she's trying to get in front of some bullshit, because I saw that clip of her saying to Latoya that she was given a Delilah spirit because of this prophet who probably was doing the predatory behavior, right? But it's like, I'm gonna wait till the episode comes on, because Candy was on the same path that I would have been on with Drew. Like, you're saying that because this guy does not want to do your baby blessing, that Latoya has something to do with it, and what she has to do with it was that she seduced him, or was this Jezebel? She called her Delilah. Miss Lickety Split called somebody Delilah, child. If anybody Delilah is goddamn, let me be quiet. The idea, taking on this misogynistic type of stance where you feel like a woman can seduce a man and that he succumbs to her feminine wiles and he cannot help himself and he loses control of himself, and she's the one that's just like, darling, yes, and you are gonna bend down and kiss my feet, honey. All that, nobody is doing that. And I cannot stand the women and men who take that stance that when a man does something wrong, somehow it was a woman who had something to do with it. Like, when I tell you, the excuse is embedded into their existence, it really is that didn't you think that maybe he could be the one that is stalking her or being a predator towards her all of a sudden? And then even Drew was like, no. Girl, I can't wait to see this episode, because I can't wait to see this episode. I did want to talk about, but I do agree with Rodney to my point. I could go off. I do agree with Rodney that she's trying to get ahead of the bullshit that's coming up this weekend, because taking that stance, instead of thinking like, oh, this man is a prophet, maybe he could foresee that me and my husband are on this show faking and acting and ain't shit. Maybe that is what he saw, and maybe that's why he don't want to bless your raggedy baby. Ooh, that was not nice. Okay, maybe that's why he doesn't want to bless your nice little bundle of joy. Anyways, Black Rob, did you guys see that video of Black Rob? I saw it also this morning. He looks like he's sick. He's in a hospital bed. I don't know what is going on with him, but all I wanted to do, I felt like I wanted to tag Puffy in that, because Puffy came out, Sean Combs, young Scorpio, he came out with this letter to corporations saying that the corporations keep their foot on black people's necks. And hold on, I'm gonna show you what he's talking about. Sean Combs, I'm gonna show you what he's talking about. He wrote an open letter to corporations, only mentioning the one corporation that he is actually not pleased with how they are supporting his revolt network, right? And the letter really started out by saying, here, I just want to read what it started out with because I do have some notes on this. Calling out corporate America. And he says, where is the letter? Open letter here. Come on, send me the link to it. Let's see. Okay, here it is. He starts off by saying, the same feet these companies use to stand with us in solidarity are the same feet they use to stand on our necks. When confronted by the leaders of several Black-owned media companies, General Motors listed my network, my network, Revolt, as an example of Black-owned media it supports. While Revolt does receive advertising revenue from GM, our relationship is not an example of success. Instead, Revolt, just like other Black-owned media companies, fight for crumbs while GM makes billions of dollars every year from the Black community. Then he went on to say, corporations like General Motors have exploited our culture, undermined our power. Do you hear the words that he's using? And it's ironic, and I have my notes. Let me just go on. And excluded Black entrepreneurs from participating in the value created by Black consumers. In 2019, brands spent $239 billion on advertising. Less than 1% was invested in the Black-owned media companies. He goes on to say, it's disrespectful that Black-owned media companies only represent 1% of the total advertising market. He goes on to say it's disrespectful that the same community that represents 14% of the population and spends over $1.4 trillion annually is still the most economically undervalued and underserved at every level. To repeat, $1.4 trillion annually, in all caps, the almighty Black dollar. So I went on this website called catalyst.org, and this is where I got my statistics from. So I will put the link down there so you guys can see it. First thing that popped out to me was that women, in terms of buying power, and when you talk about buying power, they define buying power as disposable income. So stuff at the money that you have after taxes, the disposable income. So that's buying power. Women spend in 2019 $31.8 trillion. In the U.S., that's globally, and in the U.S., $6.4 trillion. Women do. Now, white people make up 76.2% of the population. They have 81.7% buying power, spending $13.2 trillion in 2019. Black people make up 13.4% of the population and have a buying power of 8.9% and spend $1.4 trillion annually. The Asian population makes up 6.3% of the population, and they have a buying power of 7.1%, spending $1.2 trillion annually. And our Latinx brothers and sisters come in at 18.6% of the population, have a buying power of 10.7%, and are spending $1.7 trillion annually. So, Puffy, with all that said, indigenous populations, 1.3% of the population, 0.8% of buying power and spending $126 billion, and multiracial, 2.8% of the population, 1.6% of buying power and $254 billion. Now, it says the Black American buying power increases because of education levels and Black-owned businesses. So that's actually a good thing, is because we are now spending money with each other. That's good. That's a good thing. So the way I feel like Puffy is dishonest in the way that he's framing this, I feel like he's on some what's the man who's proud of his white wife? I feel like he's on that shit. I feel like Puffy wants to be a black man living the American dream. And for black American men, the American dream looks like sitting next to white men with a non-black wife to be proud of. Wasn't that nigga crazy? I look at Wikipedia said that Puffy's for 2019 he is worth $740 million. He's weaponizing our dollars. He says we want to weaponize our dollars. You're either with us or against us, and radical change is the only option. And my thing is, when I think about it, I think about the record industry and the music industry and how it has been historically to black people and the artists typically, and how Puffy, Jermaine Dupri, Russell Simmons, all of these black men who owned labels and did exactly what white label owners and the white male dominant structure in the music industry does to black people. They did the exact same thing. So I feel like the Puffy isn't trustworthy in terms of taking this position. I feel like he is like, I want to be seated at the table with white people, but I need black people to help me do that. And when I get to that place, then I'm going to treat you in the same way that white men and women who hold the power structure in the music industry, we're going to do the same thing to our artists. Like, I was just looking at Black Rob laying in the bed like that, so sick, and even talking about DMX. And it's like, Mace, the Locks, all of these people who have had so many problems and who Puffy still owes money to. And I think he still owns Mace's masters, or wanted to buy them from him, and he wouldn't even give these people. So you're like operating from the same template, but you are using black people to, as a, I don't know, it's like as a buffer, as a, here, let me step on top of your shoulder and step on your head so you can get to the top. That kind of feeling. That's how I feel. I said, you came in and did nothing to change. You sat next to white men, got excited, and did to your artists what white labels and white corporations have done to black artists this whole time. So why do you get in there and start acting like your oppressor? And why do you believe that you can be deemed as trustworthy because of that? Like, and then the fact that you only mention GM because they're not giving your network enough money to succeed, because you are a black network. And it has been shown that Puffy's channel or network was set up to fail. You can go online and read about it. But now you want black people to help you because you're not getting the support from the corporations. And at the end of the day, all you want to do is sit next to this white man at the corporate table. You are the corporation. Then ask for help when there's little evidence that you've helped. To me, it's like the Monique situation. I want you to boycott Netflix because I have a personal problem with Netflix. Although there is an existing problem where there is a pay gap between black artists and white artists. I know that that's what there is, an existing issue, and I know that people have been fighting against that. I haven't joined them in the fight, but actuality, can you actually help me? Because now it directly affects me. So can y'all come over here and help me? That's what it looks like to me. That is what it looks like to me. He didn't mention any other corporation. I was like, what is he talking about? He's talking about Disney? What are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? You haven't said anything. All you mentioned was one corporation. I thought that was odd. And then I thought to myself, who does Ciroc belong to? I was like, let me look. So Ciroc belongs to this company called Diageo. Diageo. It's a British-based company, and Puffy started doing marketing and promotions for them in 2007, and has made a deal with them to get equal shares of a split from all the profits that come from marketing and promotions. And then I went on to look up De Leon Tequila, because I was like, okay, he has this tequila company, and come to find out, he is actually 50% owner with the company that owns Ciroc. I'm just like, Puff, come on, dude. Like, I don't know. It's just very self-serving to me. I'm not getting any community like feeling from him. I felt like it was like, please just help me. I have a problem with GM. Get on, let me, let me use you to. And black people do spend a lot of money, but the stats show that the Latinx people, they spend more money than black people do. 10.7% in buying power. And then the Asians is right behind the about 10 points down, almost 10 points down, 8 points down from black people, 7.1. Black people spending 8.9% buying power. I mean, I understand what he's saying, but the approach, bruh, is self-serving, and that's why it's hard to jump on board. Like, I could see you, I don't know. That's all I have to say, y'all, about that. And what else did I have to talk about? The serpent on the serpent on Netflix is about this Asian serial killer named Charles Sabraj. Charles Sabraj. He's still alive, but he was a serial killer in the 70s, and he was going from like Kathmandu to from Thailand. He was going all over the place killing people, but he was killing hippies that were coming to get the the experience of Buddhism and become Buddhist monks, and he was killing them and taking their passports, switching out the photographs, going to the next place, and just traveling back and forth. He'd go one place, kill somebody, take their passports, travel to the next place, kill somebody. And he was also a gem dealer, honey. It's interesting. I never knew about the serial killer. I like serial killer stories. I like to get into the mind. It's a series. It's not a documentary, right? So of course I was online I was on his Wikipedia page and everything, trying to do some research and figure out who he is. But he was handsome, honey. They said he was really handsome, and he's older now, of course, but yeah, he was really handsome. I was like, oh, okay. And he was traveling with this woman and this other Asian dude, but he was, I don't know if he was, hold on. I don't know if he was, it says he was a French serial killer. I think his mother was, he was born in Saigon. So he traveled from Thailand, Nepal, India, France, Turkey, Greece, Afghanistan, Pakistan. He was a trip. French Indochina. His mother, was born in Saigon. He was a nice looking dude, like and he was a jewelry dealer, a dealer, honey. So it's very interesting so far. I watched like 4 episodes. I think it's 6. I don't know how many episodes. I just started watching it last night. Anyways, y'all, that's all I wanted to talk about. Y'all let me know the comments on what you think about what we talked about, and give your opinions on how you feel about what I talked about. You guys have a wonderful day. Take care of each other and protect your energy. Peace.